Well, thank you so much, Molly. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm going to try to minimize how much distractive noise we have, but you get to see the day in the life of a florist and the fact that our floral truck is an hour and a half late. So our flowers just got here, and I'm really excited because then I can show you a few things that we do. And I can talk to you a little bit as we put these flowers together. Right now, with everything going on and being sheltered in place, our business had been deemed, and I say had because it's been changed a little bit, non-essential business, meaning we don't fall into the criteria that we should be allowed to operate. Now, there's a couple arguments with that. People say florists are specialty retail, and then others say it's the final step in an agricultural chain. Both items are actually completely correct. We are a specialty retail shop. We're a small business, but we are also the last step in an agricultural chain, which is kind of important because what we're finding is we're not only worried about losing floral customers and losing our floral business, we're worried about the farms that we're going to lose. There are farms in Holland that actually hectares and acres, depending on which measurement you use in which country, had to demolish their crops because they had nowhere to outlet that product to, because we were all deemed non-essential. And even the essential outlets, grocery stores and things like that, that were allowed to have flowers, were told by their regional district managers to stop all flower shipments to allow more room for fresh produce, meats, other perishable items. So we've really kind of been struggling for the last month. We're really excited that the state of Illinois is allowing us to be open for Mother's Day. We are going to be doing contactless delivery. Our storefront won't be open. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to us to show you more than what you can see on our website. But we're really excited because if anybody has ever gotten flowers or done any research on flowers, we're finding that people who garden, people who have plants in their house, people who have flowers in their house really, really do better. So I know we are really sensitive and worried about our physical health and everything going on, but I think we've got that a little bit under control on what we need to do for that, and now we need to focus a little bit on our emotional and mental health. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get excited about flowers and the things that we can do with flowers. So I'm going to show you a little bit of our processing that we do. Product comes in big boxes to our wholesale facility, and then they break it out to smaller amounts. These are liatris. A lot of people grow these in their yard. It's a little early in the year right now, but to process them, we just go ahead and pull off about half the foliage. Foliage in the water, whether you're doing a little vase at home or if we're doing it at a commercial level, creates bacteria in the water. It breaks down, it creates ethylene gas, and it cuts the life of your flowers down. So we try to be really sensitive to that and take care of all that. So we're just going to go ahead. Those of us who've been doing it a long time just use a straight knife. We can cut the whole bunch. Then we go ahead and put it in some water. One of the other flowers we got is one that I really wanted to talk about because people like to cut these off their bushes at home during the summer, and they're amazing. Hydrangeas. These particular ones are from South America. They come to us with a little water packet on the bottom because they were super sensitive to not having water. So what we do with these is we have this little product called alum. It's a pickling spice. And what that does is we give this a good cut with our sharp knife on an angle, creating lots of surface. We go ahead and dip it into the alum and get it crusted on there, and go ahead and drop that in our bucket of water. And what that does is it allows it to absorb more water rapidly so that that head gets nice and hydrated. So in a few minutes when we're designing with it, it's going to be ready to go. As I said, it comes with this little plastic. This is where we'll have a little noise. Quick cut, alum. When we do weddings, we can get 200 to 300 of these in a week. So this process can be a little labor intensive. So we want to really talk about why you should have flowers, why we should be considered an integral part of health and well-being. So there's a lot of studies that have been going on. And some of the amazing effects that flowers bring is they reduce stress to people. And I think we all have enough stress right now that we could all use a little bit of flowers in our life. They boost your mood. If you've ever received flowers, did you feel bad after you received them? Probably not. You were maybe surprised, shocked, but you rarely feel poorly. Flowers aren't just for women. Men do get flowers. We do a lot of masculine arrangements, and sometimes they're not cut flowers. Sometimes we're doing a nice plant for a desk or an oxygenator for an office. They can bolster your relationships with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. They sometimes can even help you sleep. If you've ever had lavender, essential oils, just a nice lavender plant in your house can do the same kind of effect for you. They actually will help you heal physically, because we know the body heals better when the mind is healed, when the mind is calm. So if your mood is calm and you're feeling better, then you're going to physically heal up. And of course, who hasn't gone on a date and received flowers and felt a little bit more appreciated and a little bit more happy to be going out on that date? So there's lots of good reasons why we should have flowers in our house. There have been tons of studies done. Harvard, Rutgers, numerous clinics have done studies on what the power of flowers does for people and how they make them feel. So today I want to show you a couple little techniques that you can do. We actually picked some flowers from our yard this morning. There's not much out there. There's some flowering branches and some daffodils. We brought in some tulips from Holland. So we just wanted to show you a couple little techniques that we can do with flowers. So what I have here is I have this cute little rectangular vase, a little bit on the taller side. We have already put in our flower food. This is how our flower food comes. Many of you get your flower food. It looks something more like this, a little packet that you get with your flowers. One important thing I want to tell you about this is make sure you mix it per the directions. Don't just take one of these packets and put it in a big vase. You're not getting enough benefits for your flowers. It's kind of like being on that starvation diet for you. It helps, like you don't die, but you're not going to live the long, prosperous life that you should. So make sure you use your packets properly. So all we're gonna do here, and I was told that I need to bring this back. Deanna's here helping, so she's gonna try to watch and make sure you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take some curly willow or corkscrew willow. Now, I can design without putting mechanics in the vase. I've been doing this for 35 years. Deanna will tell you she cannot. That is not part of her skill set. So what we have is we have this nice pliable curly willow, and we're just going to kind of bend it, swish it, and do all of these things. I'm going to cut this really hard part off because we don't need that right now. And we're going to go ahead and kind of just nestle it in the vase. Now these bark type structures do not decay and break down as much as if we were doing greenery or something in there. Sorry, I had some background noise. So we're going ahead and just tucking that in there. This is going to give you the mechanics to hold your flowers up. I have these beautiful yellow tulips right here. This is a bunch. We sell these all the time. Typically, these run, depending on the season, $7.99 to $9.99 a piece here. So if you need to just quick grab, you can cut them out of your yard. You can buy them at the grocery store. We're going to pull off any non-essential foliages or foliages that might have some damage. We're going to cut that off. We're going to give these a quick cut with our knife. Knife skills are a learned thing. If you have trouble with knife skills, it's okay. You can go ahead and use your garden pruners that you use outside. The key to it, though, is you want to make sure that you still remove the dead foliage and cut on an angle that increases the surface area for more water to be absorbed through that step. I love to show beginners how to do tulips for a couple different reasons. Tulips are phototropic. Have you ever noticed you wake up in the morning and your tulips are like 4 inches from the ground, and by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they're quite a bit taller? Or maybe 2 days later, they're quite a bit taller. They grow to the sun. So warmth and sun is going to make these grow. Now you may not have sun in your house, but you do have artificial light. You do probably have the heat on still. It's a little chilly this morning. Maybe not. So I'm using the branches to help hold these flowers up, to put them where I want. But the thing that I have to remember is within 3 days, these flowers will have grown almost 3 inches. So they may get a little saggy looking. They may look like they're bending outside of the container. So we want to go ahead, and that one's a little too tall. So when we design these for weddings, we actually, if we design them the day before, have to take into consideration that by the time the bride gets them, they're going to have grown out a little bit more. So we just stuck those in there. Now you don't really need to add anything else to it. The foliage from the tulips is beautiful on its own. The branches are going to hold it. The other cool thing is that when it's pliable like this, if it sits in the water, it will go ahead and sprout little green leaves. Curly willow is a water-loving tree, so you're basically propagating new growth on these branches. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of what we call tree fern back here. It's a real lacy, lightweight greenery. 2 little pieces just to give it a little bit more. This one I'm going to cut into 2 sections, like so. This is something that I feel almost everyone should be able to do at home. If you don't have a cute little square vase, use a large drinking glass. Go ahead and use any pitcher that you have. The vessel does not have to be clear. You can use any kind of vessel and bind this willow up in there. If you don't have curly willow, but you have a weeping willow, you can also cut that, make sure there's no foliage on it, and twine that up, and that will make a really great structure to hold your flowers. So I'm going to slide this up into the front. We can show you more of them later if you need to see them. So we get asked all the time, one of our regular customers is 1776 in Crystal Lake, and they have little flower arrangements on their tables all the time. Little shot glass arrangements, for lack of a better term. And people love these. People come to us to grab these just to have a few around the house, or maybe they're having a holiday party and they'll order 8 or 9 of these. These are a perfect size for senior homes where they maybe only have a bedside table, or maybe they have just a small dining table for 1 or 2 people. It's very petite. Typically, when we do these, they range in price from $10 to $25, depending on how big we do them. But our senior customers and our regular customers love these. So what this is it's just a little cork-covered glass. We put a piece of Oasis in. When you get Oasis, if you've ever gone to the craft store, there's a couple different kinds. So make sure if you want to use this, you get the right kind. This is instant standard Aquafoam. Oasis is another company. It's kind of like, do you buy Kleenex or do you buy Puffs? They're really the same thing. This absorbs water. There is the craft. It's usually brown, but sometimes green. It does not absorb water. You want to make sure you get the one that absorbs water. It has all the little holes on one side. The other thing is when you soak your piece, whatever size piece you're going to use, in water, don't push it down in the water. When you push it down in the water, it creates air pockets in the inside. You can't see those. You don't know that they're there, but they're there. So we just let that free float. And what we have here is our little, we've added water, our little container. So I'm going to sneak back here behind me and grab, this is some Italian ruscus out of Italy. Now you probably have never even thought about where your flowers come from, but they come from all over the world. So right now, with the inability to ship out of certain countries or into certain countries, we're having a hard time getting flowers moved around. Holland just now, one of the world's biggest auctions, was able to open back up to sell to the United States, but there are limited flights. And that's because most floral product, not all, but most, do not move on cargo flights because they can't fill a cargo flight full of perishable merchandise like this. So we fly on commercial flights. So if there are not commercial flights going into or out of the country into the United States, we can't move product. We can't get product here. So by not letting people be able to fly into our country, it also limited us on how much product we could get in. But Holland is now getting some few flights in, lots of regulations, but we are getting product in, so it's been wonderful for us. So I just put a little bit of greenery in here. You could use hosta out of your yard. You could use any type of foliage out of your yard. We just went ahead and used the Italian ruscus because we have the Italian ruscus. And then I'm going to turn around here. And I have some lovely purple carnations. We know purple goes very well with wine. We love our quart containers for our wine enthusiasts. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to use 3 carnations. Very simple, not a lot of flowers, 3 carnations. All right. 1, 2, 3. Makes a little triangle. And then we're going to go ahead and use a few of our pom-poms. I'm going to keep this pretty much purple. These are what we call Pom-Poms. They're from the chrysanthemum family. You'll notice we get lots of flowers on one stem. So this makes really great product when we're trying to make big and showy without having a lot of flowers, or if we have a budget that we really have to just keep our arrangements down to. I actually got a call right before the Zoom meeting from one of our local senior centers, and we'll be doing some similar to this for Mother's Day for their little luncheon that they're having. So we're really excited to get to be part of the community again and working with other people. We know that colors of flowers really affect people's moods. When I teach at the college, we always talk about try to find out what colors people like, because you can send someone the most beautiful arrangement, and if you find out that they hate yellow and that beautiful arrangement you did of all yellow tulips, sunflowers, and roses, doesn't matter how great or long-lasting the flowers are, they're gonna hate it because it's yellow. So we always try to find out what's our color preference, what's our style, what do we like. The next flower we're gonna use is a product called Monte Cassino. It's an aster. These are beautiful bunches. They're from Esmeralda Farms out of South America. That's one piece. So they're little purple flowers. They're a filler flower. Many people are familiar with baby's breath. You either love it or you hate it. I've come to that conclusion. We love to use some of these other flowers. You will find that if Deanna's given the choice to sell you something, it will not probably have baby's breath. It's on her hate list. But if you ask for it, she's happy to give it to you. But if you ask her opinion, she's going to tell you something like waxflower, Genestra, Boronia Heather. There's so many great options out there that we don't have to use just baby's breath. So we're going to just go ahead and use 2 little stems. Now I want you to think about this. 3 carnations, 1 stem of pom-poms, a little bit of greenery, and a little bit of filler flower. How sweet would this be to receive at home maybe once a week when your mood improves, or maybe once a month if you have a loved one that is housebound right now. You could send them once a month. They could be getting flowers like this. So this is just another one of our little arrangements. We sell a product called the Flight of Flowers. So people will buy that. They receive a complimentary arrangement with their coupon, and then they call in or they stop in. Right now we're at call-in mode. And we go ahead and punch that card for them, and they will receive one of these every week, every month, every quarter, depending on which program they pick. So that's kind of a fun way to get flowers in people's hands. I've been listening to so many statistics and so much Debbie Downer stuff that I'm really excited to be able to be back in the shop making a few things for you. So one of the other things we talked about, mom approved. Mother's Day is coming. You may not get to see your mom, you may not get to see your daughter, you may not get to see your grandmother. Via maybe Zoom you will, but we're able to deliver some really great gifts. So this is one of our Aquafoam candles that we have here. And all we're doing is we're basically gonna make a flower wrapper per se to go around this beautiful candle. And again, I'm gonna go back to the branches. I do a lot of presentations and talks, garden clubs and things, and My husband always laughs because he says it's not a program with Jen unless there's a ton of branches involved. It's not really a lie. Deanna's laughing at me, but it's true. So we're gonna go ahead and trim some of these off. This is from my forsythia bush out behind my house. So the dogs and I went out and cut them this morning. So I'm trimming off all the little laterals because we don't want to poke anybody's eyes out. And we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut this not just on an angle, we're gonna kind of make a needle point out of it so that we can poke it through our leaf that's covering that green foam we talked about before. All right, and then we're gonna take these short little branches. Now you can do this at home. You could go out and get a candle and pick some branches from your yard. This is easy enough. I'm using a leaf. A hosta leaf would work beautifully around the base here. But if you don't have a hosta leaf, you could use ribbon. You could use paper. So basically just filling that all in. This is our Luxe Linen candle. It's one of our most popular candles here. All right. Okay. We're going to use some eucalyptus. When we talked about things that might help you sleep, for some people the smell of eucalyptus is very therapeutic. For other people it can induce an extreme headache. It's a very common allergy to eucalyptus. There's several different kinds of eucalyptus. If my supplier was able to, I'm going to look in my box here. Yeah. So we have in-house right now, this is what we call spiral or baby eucalyptus. This is the one that smells very medicinal. This right here is a willow eucalyptus. You can see it's very loose. We also have one other, which is our seeded eucalyptus, which has the little berries on it. Koalas typically will be eating more the willowy or the seeded euc versus the spiral, but we can do either. I'm going to go ahead because we're working with scent on this arrangement. We have a candle. We're going to have some eucalyptus. Pick things that have great scents. We're going to add some of these beautiful daffodils that we picked from our yard. I'm really excited. These daffodils are from my great-grandmother's house. We moved them from her house to the house we lived in Harvard, and now they're at our house in McHenry. We have so many of them that when our children move out, we will probably send some with them. They're prolific little guys. These daffodils have a sweet little fragrance to them. They do have a hollow center, so sometimes if we have trouble getting them to stay in the foam, don't need to turn my back on you, but we'll grab a pipe cleaner. This one's colored. Go ahead and stick it into the hollow center, and that will make it nice and rigid for us to be able to do the insertion. The other cool thing is that the pipe cleaner will wick up some water, so we don't have to worry about the flower head not being able to get water. It will get plenty of water. All right, so we're gonna just touch in here with a little of this. So we have one branch from our yard, 5 daffodils from our yard. I'm gonna grab another filler flower here, which is our solidago. Some people know it as ragweed along the side of the road. Solidago is cultivated, so it doesn't typically have the allergen factor that you get when you have ragweed. We really don't want too many flowers in this. The whole purpose of this is the candle to be the gift. So we went ahead and just are adding a little bit. Now, who would rather have that around a candle than the $1.99 gift bag that you can purchase? So something really simple like that. I'm going to slide this forward and have Deanna move it out of the way. It's kind of in our way here. All right. So we're gonna go to a plant now. Not everybody likes fresh cut flowers. So this is your basic Phalaenopsis plant. You can get them anywhere. We got ours from Hydrangeas, which is an orchid grower here in Illinois. What we've done is we've moved the wire stake that they use to hold up the flowers. We kind of turned it sideways. And I have this really, really pretty spring scarf. What we're gonna do is we're gonna dress this up. These are ideas that you can take home with you, or you're at home, for giving gifts to your family and loved ones. But I'm gonna go ahead and take some flat wire here. This is decorative, so I don't have to worry about covering it up. Put my scarf up here. So we're adding this. If anybody's ever received an orchid plant, they don't typically have really thick soil in here. It's usually more of a barky or sandy kind of soil to it. So we're just gonna wrap that up. And as you can see, it's pulling it forward a little bit.
Kay says you make it look easy.
Thanks, Kay. So again, we're gonna wrap that around for right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull the weight of this orchid back a little bit with our scarf. Again, you're giving them the benefit of this beautiful organic plant, but with a gift that they can keep after the blooming time is done. I'm going to take another piece of this wire and I'm going to stick it here in the bottom.
Monique says, I love orchids, but they don't seem to like me. Hard to keep them alive.
So orchids don't need a lot of water. That seems to be the biggest mistake. The other thing is they like humidity. Some people that I know who've had really good luck with orchid plants, they love to go buy them at Home Depot or wherever, is taking them into the shower or into the bathroom with them when they shower and have a nice steamy shower in there, to give them that humidity and that little bit of moisture in the floral part of it, not just in the base of it.
She also said, what about sun?
They do like sun. So yeah, you do have to have some sunshine for them. But just something fun with a gift and an orchid. So
I just found the chat bubble, guys. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, Deanna's reading the chat bubbles for me, so I will try to answer them as we see them. I'm trying to give you some ideas of how you can use plants and flowers as gifts, as something different. We're going to go ahead and make another arrangement. And I'm going to ask Deanna to watch the time because I can sit here and talk for forever.
12:30.
Okay. So this is what we refer to as an egg-shaped vase, just kind of up and down. And if you were watching before the session started, you would have saw me playing with this product. This product is called Middelino. It comes to us from the Dutch, from Holland. It's like little skinny, teeny tiny pieces of bamboo that are super flexible. And if we want them to be even more flexible when we get them wet, they're super bendable. So all I've done is, just like the wire, we're kind of, see, that one's not flexible because it's not wet anymore. We just kind of keep bending it back and forth. If we're doing a big project with this, we'll basically soak a whole bundle. But because we're just going to do one piece with it, I love to create structures and armatures. These are things that you can play with. My husband laughs. We'll be at Menards and he'll be looking at something and I'm like looking at copper wire or plastic tubing or some crazy thing trying to figure out. He still laughs. Deanna and I participated in a design contest a few years ago and I actually grabbed drop ceiling tile that has the little square cutouts and we painted it black. He couldn't figure out what
Molly says, is that fishing line or a stiffer wire?
Good question. What I'm using is, I'm using a decorative jewelry wire. Deanna's gonna bring it closer so you can see it. Comes in different colors. It's aluminum. You can do it with fishing line. You're gonna laugh. I've actually, in a pinch, used yarn. I've actually used butcher twine to create my structures if I need to. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim this off now. I've made my little butterfly and I'm gonna just set this on top. okay? It's not a fixed. It could walk away on me, but it won't, because by the time we're done putting flowers in, it's gonna stay exactly where I tell it to stay. So, where's my friends? They're down here. These are some of my favorite flowers. It's not a day at work if we don't have callas. So we try to have them here all the time. These are beautiful Dutch callas. You can see. And all we're going to do, trim the stem, and we're going to stick them through the loops that we created to help hold the sucker in place. This one, we're going to do some to the left, some to the right. A lot of the pieces that I do are what they call asymmetrical. So the tulips and the little cork base are symmetrical. They're round, pretty much what you do to one side, you do to the other. When we get to our novelty flowers like this, we tend to want to do more fun and unusual things.
Do you want some questions from before that I missed?
Sure, what are the questions?
Is alum something that you can buy in the grocery aisle?
Yes, it's a pickling spice. It's in the spice aisle.
And then in regards to our tulips,
yes,
how long do we leave our tulips growing outside before cutting them? Sorry, we've got stuff covering the screen, and bringing them inside to use in an arrangement. I don't want to cut them too early so they look nice outside, but also want to enjoy them inside.
So your outside tulips, depending on how much light they get, can get as tall as, I have some outside that are probably close to 24 to 30 inches. When I cut them outside, I like to let them get to at least a foot outside so I get my outside enjoyment, then cut them and bring them inside so I get my inside enjoyment. That makes sense.
We're good, we're caught up.
We're good? Okay. So this is a hyacinth plant left over from Easter. I'm cutting off the bulb part. Come back next year, you'll see this hyacinth growing in front of our store because we do take these bulbs and we plant them. So if you got bulb plants for Easter, once they are bloomed out, you want to leave some of the green on, and you can go ahead and plant them outside as you would a dry bulb. Just leave that little bit of green, just a little bit out, so that the sun can feed that bulb. Typically, we plant tulip bulbs in the fall because they've already regenerated their nutrients and then are pulled out after the season. But you can plant them. We typically wait till a little later in the summer. We let them live in their pots and then we plant them, but some people plant them right away. So what we've got there now is our hyacinths in the middle. We have our callas doing a little dance for us. And I'm gonna take this really fun, one of my favorite foliages, which is lily grass. So if I could grow this here, I would be so super happy, but I can't. Typically this comes out of South America as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just stick this again through that little grid we made. And for people who are not experienced designers, if you can create some kind of grid, decorative grid on the top of your vessels, it makes it so much easier for you to get your flowers to go where you want them to go. Okay, so we're gonna just keep sticking a few of these in. Let's see what's going on here. All right. Now instead of having them spray all out, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little slit in about every other one of them. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a little lacing technique. So we're gonna put one piece of grass through another. We're gonna turn this way. And we're gonna put a little slit in this one. It will not diminish the life of this lily grass all that much, so I don't feel bad going and putting these slits in. Just splits the leaf open a little bit. But it allows me to have some control over where my lily grass is going. I'm missing one. Okay. All right. So then we're gonna go ahead and put this in. Yes.
So Dorothy Wolf says, so did Jen say if we get monthly deliveries, we can call to get them now, or are you closed and unable to deliver them, but will only be open for Mother's Day?
No, Dorothy, we got to open back up. So Dorothy is one of our regular subscription flower people.
She missed it this month.
She did miss it this month because we were in that flux between Easter and Mother's Day and trying to figure it all out. She also, unfortunately or fortunately, works at a facility that is in extreme lockdown. So we were trying to figure out how to navigate that. But Dorothy, if you want to reach out to us, we will set up a time to get your flowers up there. We're really excited to be back on track and able to work with you guys on this. So.
She says, yay.
Yay, yes. So this is just my fun, simple. Again, it looks like a lot of flowers, but it has 8 stems in there and some greenery. All right.
Okay.
Deanna's gonna take this. So we're gonna talk about a couple little gifts we have down at the front of the counter for Mother's Day. So one of the things we do have here is we have a local woman who makes these amazing hand soaps and body scrubs and sugar scrubs and bath bombs. She's out of Bolo. I've known her darn near her whole life. The whole process of making this came about. She had a daughter with allergies, so they were looking for an organic source, and these are just amazing. So what we are partnering with her is we're adding them into some of our mugs. This is kind of a fun mug. We were talking about not everybody likes the kitschy with all the phrases and stuff. They just want to drink coffee. So we just kind of show that mug off. A couple other things that we have. I'm just going to bring it closer for you.
Yeah.
We bought these for the coffee mom or people who like juice, and for the mom who needs just a little something something. We have our little wine glasses. The big one says best mom ever. So in the morning when she's teaching school, she's the best mom ever. And then when it's time for school to be over, we have our wine glass, which says mom off duty. Now, she might be using this at 10 o'clock in the morning. We might want to be concerned, but we definitely support whatever we have to do to get through. We can put arrangements in these, which is really great. They are stainless steel, so they will wash up and then they can be food ready. So some fun little things, different vessels. How many bases can you have? I mean, really, we can just put a few flowers, tulips, whatever in these. So we have these here. But this is one of our favorite, and it doesn't have to be for Mother's Day. Today is Administrative Professionals Day. If you missed it, technically they call the whole week Administrative Professionals Week, so you can get them on Friday. It's a stay away until this mug is empty. And we know a lot of administrative assistants and moms feel that way regularly. So we put a piece of foam in there, and we're just gonna do some fun things with that liatris that we had, these nice big tall flowers. So we've got 3 of these.
Molly says, I love the idea of using useful things for temporary vases.
Right, isn't it? I mean, I'm guessing that the chamber is starting to think that I might, be a little crazy about liquor, because it seems like every gala that we're doing centerpieces, we somehow either have wine bottles or whiskey bottles, but we want everyone to be included, so this is a great way that we can get good team participation. So we've got a little branch material here, another little branch material here. Again, coffee mug. We can add, bagged candies like Hershey Kisses or things like that to it. We do carry some gourmet coffees. We've had people ask, can you pick up a bag at Starbucks and put that in there? Absolutely, we can do that for you. That's not a problem. Can you go to Riverside Chocolate Factory, add chocolates, you betcha, all different things. So these are tea leaves. You see them a lot of time on plants. I'm gonna do a cute little technique where we're just gonna take this leaf, we're gonna roll it, kind of like a burrito. 1245. And then we're gonna take, not our heavy duty stapler, but our medium stapler. You could use office desk stapler. So we get a cute little curl.
Can you tell me who has the bath bombs and cream?
So the name of the company is Soak, S-O-A-K. We do carry quite a few here. If you are interested in knowing specifically what scents and varieties we have, you can go ahead and email Deanna at jheventsandflowers.com, and she has the whole list and can send you an email of what we have in scrubs. as well as bath bombs and other assorted goodies. But they also are online, so you can look at what products they have to offer as well. Yes. All right, so I'm just going to take 3 of these leaves. Like I said, they're tea leaves. These are the red. We're going to just fold them up, roll them like little burritos, give them a couple quick staples, and insert it. So we got something going on like that. Every mom loves a few roses, so we're going to go ahead. You will notice a lot of times when we design in groupings. Lots of times we use 3s, which is very common design practice. When we get into more Asian-inspired design and the Ikebana-style designs, sometimes you'll see 1s, sometimes you'll see 2s, but the rules vary depending on the style of the design. I teach over at the college, and we joke that by the time they get to my design class, they've taken 2 years to learn all the rules. And then when they come to my class, they learn how to break all the rules because there are some various things that we can do. All right, so we're just going to put a little bit of that Willow Eucalyptus in here. Just a little something, something, so you can't have some texture going on. And then this is one of our favorite fillers. It is Mother's Day only. You can only get this in late April, early May. This is called Boronia Heather. It has a sweet yet almost tart scent to it. It's hard to explain. You know, I've had people tell me freesia smells like Fruit Loops when it's soaked in milk. It has a little bit of a tart, almost bitter, but it has a sweet finish. So
Monique says she is borrowing that mom off duty saying. And Molly said, I'm shocked with how short you cut your stems. I always thought you needed to keep a longer stem.
You don't necessarily need a longer stem. When we're putting flowers in foam, specifically like roses, the shorter they are, the less distance the water has to travel. So it allows them to last a little bit longer, which is obviously what we want them to do. We're going to add one more element to this. If you notice everything that I'm showing you, we are trying to keep it really simple because we want these to be things that you can do yourself. We also want you to, when we can open our doors back up, come on in and maybe sign up for a class here where we can show you some more elaborate designs. Or maybe you just want to come in and visit me, Indiana, and I'll whip something up in front of you and you can pick the flowers that you want and we can put something together for you. As we start to know what your preferences are, we can tend to create things that cover the preferences you have. We're going to cover our back end here because we don't want you to see that foam. So we're going ahead and giving it a quick follow through here. And voila, you have your stay away until this mug is empty. So now, this could be a really long time. It may have to stay away till the flowers die and you get to drink your first cup of coffee out of it. So you decide how long it's going to stay full. All right, I'm going to make one last thing because I was told figure about 45 minutes. So we have these great towels, and I get asked all the time. I have a couple customers who like to bring me adult beverages instead of putting them in a gift bag. So I have a nice bottle of Cabernet here. And the towel says, buy your mom a bottle of wine. After all, you are one of the reasons she drinks. These are great little towels. We have lots of different ones. We brought a bunch in for Mother's Day. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and just dress this bottle with our little towel. And this is not what I want. I want this one. So I have some more of this cool wire.
That's thicker than what you used earlier.
This is thicker than what I used earlier. This is a 12 gauge craft wire. This is aluminum, very flexible. I'm going to cut about a yard's worth. And what this is going to allow me to do is to go ahead and kind of wrap. I'm going to turn this so the saying is my way so that I can see. We want her to be able to read the towel. So we're going ahead and tying that on there nice and tight. Fluffing that up. And then we're going to take a needle nose pliers. You can use, if you're a jewelry maker, you can use your jewelry nips. And we're going to go ahead and create a cool little wire treatment. Now, I am not allowed to sell wine. I do not have a liquor license. It is not part of our program. However, if you would like to bring us a bottle, we can decorate it. In this time that you can't bring it to us, if we need to pick it up while we're out on one of our delivery runs and dress it up and deliver it for mom, we can go ahead and do that. We do have drivers that are of legal age, so we can go ahead and get that taken out to your best friend, your mom, your grandma, your girlfriend, whoever you need to get it taken out to, we can do that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of our signature colored ribbon here because we really like our color. We're going to just make a quick bow. This is the part that always has everybody going, what the heck did she just do?
You don't want to come over here if you're going to make a bow.
No, that's all right. If I need to, I can come over. So we're going to make a quick little bow. We make thousands of these. We're going to leave a couple longer tails. I'm going to tie it off with a piece of ribbon. The hard part here is back in the day, I would have just put this piece of ribbon in my mouth, but we don't do that anymore because we're being very conscious on the rules. So we're going to go ahead and tie that over where we put our wire decorative. Give it a tie. And then I have this really great product. It's called Oasis Glue. It's a cold glue. It's specifically designed for flowers. So we're going to just take a couple of these really pretty Dendrobium orchid blooms. And we use this technique a lot for prom because the kids like the orchids. It's something different. We're going to go ahead and just take a couple blooms off the stems, get rid of their stems. We don't really need the stem. Open the tube of glue. Now the key to this is we have to be really careful not to get it on the towel. That's really where I have to be careful. It needs to get tacky, so we're going to go ahead and just blow on it a little bit. And then we're going to stick it there. And for time and speed, we're going to double insure it. So we have another product that's called U-Glue strips. I don't particularly always think the U-Glue holds tight enough. So a lot of times, depending on the application, we'll go ahead and do both. What this is giving me is it's giving me a sticky point to hold it while the glue dries. It's like a super industrial two-sided tape, for lack of a better analogy. So we're going to put one on each of our little curls here. And like so. 12:55. Perfect. We're going to put this other one on the other. The orchid blooms on here typically will last a couple days, maybe longer, because they don't really have a water source. But just a fun, different way to give a bottle of wine than just put it in a bag and say great. It's a nice little gift for friends, moms, maybe even business associates. So I want to give you a couple of statistics before I finish. The Society of American Florists has been really lobbying and fighting for us to be able to be that last step in the horticulture chain and keep flower and plants moving. And so what we want to tell you about why we do flowers and how it's important to your business is, the study showed, they did a study, and it showed that 86% of the people who received flowers said that receiving the flowers made them feel special. So whether you send it to yourself or you send it to somebody else, it has a positive influence. 88% of the people who were polled said that receiving flowers said that their mood was changed for the better. 89% of the people received flowers believed that the sender was sophisticated and was advanced and really understanding people's emotional needs. 92% of the people remembered the last time they received flowers. And it's pretty sad if the last time was years ago, because you deserve to have flowers more often than that. And more importantly, 99% of the people said the person who gives flowers is thoughtful. So we want you to take care of yourself. We want you to take care of your friends, your families, your seniors. And don't forget that the power of flowers is huge. You can spend just a little bit of money and really go a long way with making people feel good about themselves and the situations that we're dealing with. So Molly said we're going to open it back up to any questions. So we'll go ahead and let Molly go ahead and do that.
Okay, I have a question about that orchid. Once
Yes.
it loses its flowers, I've got one here. The leaves are growing. Will it ever get flowers again?
Yes. If you go ahead and keep feeding it, follow your orchid food. You can get it at any local Home Depot, Menards. Miracle Grow has an orchid food. Go ahead and keep feeding it and watering it. I'm not really good at it, but my dad has probably gotten 97% of the orchid plants that we lost the blooms or cut the blooms off of to regrow beautiful blooms just by feeding the plant.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jen, you mentioned that you grabbed a lot of this out of your own yard. Are you a gardener, or you only deal with the cut stems as well?
So the rule for years, now I've been doing this for over 35 years. I've been teaching for over 25 of them. And everybody always asks me a lot of horticulture questions. And my standard answer has always been, I don't deal with roots. I deal with what happens when you cut them. I'm not a horticulturist. We do have an okay garden, but we spend more time in the shop during the summer, so I don't have as long of time to really take care of the things we do. That's really more my husband's area of expertise. Sorry. So.
I just want to say you always make me feel so much braver. But I watch you, but then I'm afraid, but I'm going to get over that fear.
You can do it. You can do it, Dorothy.
It's kind of like the cooking channel. I think I could have watched you do flowers all day long. Whether
I've had people
planning on
do
doing
I have people who will come in and have us, they love that our design counter is out front because they'll come in and have bouquets made for people, and they just like to stand here and watch me actually put it together more than ordering it and having it delivered, which is going to be a challenge for people because they aren't going to be able to come in and see me watch me do it. So I don't know if I'm going to have to FaceTime them or what, but we're going to get through this and hopefully get some more flowers delivered.
Hey, you should think about doing like a Facebook Live, doing that.
Well,
to advertise for Mother's Day.
Our social media person has been on me for over 6 months now that we needed to do that. And I kept telling her I couldn't. And so now because we did this, I can't use that excuse anymore. So yes, we will be adding some Facebook Lives to our social media platform.
Jennifer, this is Carol Haskey from the McHenry Garden Club. Every time I see you, every time I see you, you always amaze me. You have so much knowledge.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen. And we are working on another session for next week. So we'll announce that soon. But everyone stay safe and healthy, and we will see you again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks
Thanks,
for
Molly,
joining us.
thank you for putting this
Thanks,
together.
Molly. Yeah.
Thanks, Molly.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Molly.